You're watching Metropole Television. My name is Simbalaja Charles Kiage. This is your official sector trend. All right. Now, with the growth and rise of influencer marketing, brands are able to find authentic ways to advocate for their products using real people in real time and with real big results. Today, let's talk about that influencer marketing and how it works and whether it actually does in the long run. All right. To aid with this discussion, I'm joined by Ms. Wandia Moshiju, who is a digital marketing strategist, and David Olilo, who is a data strategist and digital marketing, who's the CEO for Ninefluence. Let's get into that conversation this morning. We do have Ms. Wandia with us as we wait for David to join into the conversation shortly. Let me get into that conversation. Let me first start by saying good morning, Ms. Wandia.
Good morning. How are you?
Fantastic. Happy to have you around. Let's get into that conversation. Influencer marketing. Is this space new?
Pardon?
Influencer marketing. Is this space new?
Well, it is relatively new per se in our marketing strategies, but it has catch on so fast and it's giving good ROIs, so it's something to go by.
Pretty much. So for somebody who wants to understand influencer marketing, I mean, there are two terminologies there, influencer and marketing. So could you break down what this influencer marketing is?
Well, influencer marketing is using leaders to help you influence or affect or they are very influencers are the same. There are different kind of influencers, and according to your marketing goals and your influencer marketing strategy, that is how you choose what kind of influencer to go by. But generally, it is using community leaders or people who have influence and celebrities to affect your audience's purchasing decisions.
Yes. So when we're looking at influence, I mean, right now, Ms. Wandia, everybody would sort of talk about what? Social media now. I mean, is it now in this decade, is it hard to separate influencing and social media?
Those are and even who are influenced because how you handle it, how you go about it, and the strategies. So you can know. We just use social media as a channel when handling influencer marketing.
Yes. Does it become difficult then to understand that somebody might be on social media, not have the numbers per se, and that's another question I want to ask you. For me to be an influencer, fine, I might be a market leader in any other sector or industry that I might be in. I might be a leader somewhere as well. But then when you attach then social media to that, it means that I gotta have some numbers. What is this threshold, Ms. Wandia, that we're talking about here this morning that makes somebody an influencer on a social media?
Well, as you've said, having numbers alone does not make you an influencer.
Yes.
You have to have an authority because, as you've seen, most influencers are experts and they have knowledge and a certain authority. They have exerted their authority in the industry that they are in. So
yes.
Numbers are not enough. You have to have the expertise and you have to have a relationship, a certain relationship with your audience. Either you actively engage with them, you give them good value content. That's why I said in the beginning, there are different kind of influencers. There are mega influencers who are famous and not necessarily influential.
Yes.
And these ones are used for brand awareness campaigns because their reach is massive, and brands tend to use them to reach the kind of get their brand out there. They are used for product launches. So those are mega influencers. And then there are macro influencers who have below 1 million followers. They are experts in their field and they have deep engagements.
Yes.
They know their audiences better than the mega influencers. And here you can use them for engagement campaigns plus the reach. And then there's something we call micro influencers. When you want conversions, this is where you go because you tend to see that their audiences are very niched. They are niched down. Review. A guy will go for a micro influencer because this person has one expertise and they have a deeper influence to their audience. They drive purchase more than the mega and the macro influencers. Then there's the nano influencers. You and I, people know us, and we have a team that we engage with every day. We have an audience that we really talk and all that. And this is perfect for user-generated content. This is your everyday guy, the girl next door. So those ones are used for something we call user-generated content. So as you can see, different dynamics, different influencers, different results, and different approaches.
Pretty much. So let's understand then, when you're sort of saying, okay, let's get into digital marketing then, as a digital strategist, a smaller business will come to you and ask you, Miss Maria, we want to get our products through the digital line. Who do we start from, especially when it comes to influencer marketing?
Well, depending on the strategy that we have crafted
Yes.
and where the company is at now and the budget, that is very important because as much as mega influencers are very good for product launches and pushing that brand awareness,
Yes.
they are very expensive. So there are factors that come in when we advise and set up an influencer marketing strategy. That is where we are at, what we want to do, what the marketing goals is, and the marketing budget. Do we have a budget that is enough for this particular goal to be achieved? Because we find that in the marketing world, you do not get results per se when you do something just once. Because your key goal here is to stay top of mind of your audience. And
Yes.
when you do it once, it tends to disappear. There's something we call the marketing rule of 7. Someone has to have engaged with you 7 times for them to even start evaluating you and consider buying from you. So we go back to the budget aspects and deciding what kind of influencer we will have on board at that particular point for the brand.
Pretty much. All right. Now, we got into 2020, Miss Wandia, and everybody was saying, well, we have to go online for this digital marketing. Would you say that indeed the need for this digital marketing was sort of emphasized even more as we got into 2020? But would you talk to me about where it was prior to the coronavirus pandemic in 2020? Has there been that stress?
Well, prior to the pandemic, trying, and there are people who are getting results, and you would see it was easy.
Yes, I think we have had a technical hitch with Miss Wandia, but at this point as well, We do have David Olilo, who is the CEO, Nine Flames, in the studio, who's also going to take up that part. David, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Happy to have you around finally. Now, we're talking about digital marketing and influencer marketing. Is it something that is new, or it's something that has been with us?
Now, influencer marketing has been there.
Yes.
You realize that people usually recommend products that they like, while some brands will pay influential people or celebrities to recommend their products. So this is something that has already been there. But now we are seeing, with the advent of social media, celebrities are now becoming more advanced in the sense that they're more influential on these platforms.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about that as well. Miss Wendy has gone through who an influencer is. She's gone through mega influencers, macro influencers, micro influencers, even nano influencers as well. I know you run a platform now that is pretty much based on this influencer platform.
Yeah.
Would you define for us, Father, who is an influencer?
Correct. An influencer is somebody who recommends a brand to their followers.
Yes.
Yeah. As Wanya said, this can be celebrity influencers, can be macro influencers or micro influencers. And now with the social media platforms, for this case,
yes,
we are seeing micro influencers actually having more engagement compared to celebrity influencers. For
yes,
example, for brands, they will put a big budget to have one celebrity promote their brand, of which the people in their following might have little engagement with their brand.
Yes.
But now with micro influencers who actually connect with their followers, it's more beneficial and advanced, because with the little followers they have, the more engagements they have.
Pretty much.
Yep.
So since we're right within this conversation for digital marketing influencers, when you look at where we are, if you go back to 2019 and then you come back to 2020, would you say that there has been a stress now, Dave, when you look at how companies are now approaching this influencer marketing? Would you say that the COVID-19 pandemic has pushed us to accept that indeed this is the way to go?
Definitely.
Yes.
We realized with the pandemic, for example, for things like kid events or social gatherings were cancelled. So this pushed a lot of consumers to go online and just connect with, for example, with other people. And we realized, like right now, a lot of consumers get influencer recommendations when
yes,
they're making their purchasing decisions. So with the pandemic, since 2019 and everything, I would say yes, consumers are now more drawn to get recommendations from influencers.
Yes.
And this is being made even more effective because with technology, you will see like social media platforms provide an easy way for actually the influencers to connect their brands with the consumers.
Pretty much. I'm also talking to Miss Wendy as well. You will hear what she's saying, that indeed you don't need sometimes to have the numbers to be called an influencer or leader in your particular segment. I put on the same question to her, that it's a good thing that you're mentioning about social media now. Is it possible to look at somebody and then say, now is an influencer, despite their lack of the numbers on social media, whatever platform it is that they might be? Is it possible to look at those independently and say, you might be an influencer without really having this following on social media, or you cannot call yourself an influencer really without having this following on social media? Can you talk about digital influencing without putting it together with social media?
Definitely. One of the things we consider an influencer as an influence is person who has a little following. For example, at least 3,000 followers. And we call this person a micro-influencer.
Yes.
And the reason why we do this, or we consider these people in our community, is because as much as these people have little following, their engagement when it comes to promoting a brand is higher than a person who has more following.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Fantastic. I think we have Miss Wandia back. Wandia, can you confirm you can get us? Seemingly not yet. Do we have her? Yeah, we can get her in the studio. It's a pity this morning we continue to work on that platform. All right. Now, Dave, I know you are the CEO of Nine Flames as well. Is it influencer marketing now that sort of pushed you to start your company? And talk to me about the efficacy of digital influencing, or as opposed to what we know as old marketing. Yes.
Definitely. So as Nine Flames, our main mission is to provide a marketplace where we connect brands with consumers. Simply put it, we provide a platform that brands can source branded content and influencer efficiently and easily.
Yes.
So, for example, when it comes to influencer marketing, currently and traditionally, we realize that in the past, brands will put more budget to get celebrities to promote their products. But then you see, a celebrity will cast a wide net, but then the engagement from that will be very little.
So I like what you're saying. I like this one that you keep on saying, engagement. What sort of engagement are we talking about, especially when it comes to digital influencing? What do you like to see? What do your clients like to see?
So when it comes to engagement, there are different ways where we measure it.
Yes.
So basically from comments or the reach, specifically the reach that influencers can give for a brand on, for example, on their followers.
Yes.
So you realize for celebrities, yes, they'll cast a wide net to their following, but the engagement will be very little.
I say that because you probably know you want to ask a question, you might or might not get a response back, isn't it?
Yes. Or the engagement, or for example, the engagement, these people might be following these people, but the celebrities, but it's not authentic people compared to micro-influencers who have little following, but when they communicate a brand to their following, it's very authentic because these might be people who already consume that brand's product.
Pretty much. Miss Wandia, when we are talking about that engagement, as a digital marketing strategist, you're using an influencer for that particular product. What sort of engagement would you like to see for you to come back and say, well, that was effective?
Well, we would, there's something we call stacked engagement in marketing.
Yes.
I would want to see people tagging each other, people commenting and giving reviews of the product if they've used it, people asking where do we get this product in the comment section, and then that engagement drives a conversation, because when there is a conversation, then there is a highly likely chance for conversion.
Yes.
Because when the engagement is driving a conversation, there is, we call it content, it's content in the comments, and you're able to answer a lot of questions therein. So apart from something that we call non-transactional metrics, which are the likes and all that, we look at the comments, the shares, and for Instagram, how many people saved the post, and to how many people it reached. That is all combined as engagement, and it is also a success metric to measure thereabouts, apart from the conversion.
Pretty much. So can I ask you again, we've seen exactly how majority of the companies prefer then to get into this space for digital marketing. They will give you a card, and I've seen that I will just ask right the way that we normally say it. That will say that for you to buy this product, then you can actually get to use this code, and probably after that you can get into a discount. Is that the other way to measure the performance of a digital influencer in this digital marketing space? And is that the only way then you can pay these people?
Well, it's not the only way. That is part of influencer marketing, which is combined with something called affiliate marketing, where someone, they are paid per conversion, the conversion they make, because you use the discount code, and that goes to say, we call it direct referral. That goes to tell us as much as you're influencing the purchase of this product, by how much, by how far is your reach and how deep is your influence. Because if they use your specific code, we are able to track that link back to you. And it is not the only form of doing things, but if you include it in your influencer marketing strategy, it helps you go deeper into measuring success.
Pretty much. All right. So, Dave, you sat down and then you said there's a way to leverage on these influencers in the Kenyan space. Then you came up with Nifluence. For you, Dave, how do you then measure the efficacy of this marketing that these influencers might actually want to get into on your platform?
Exactly. So for us, we are a technology platform.
Yes.
So basically, we have integrated different features especially with the social platforms. So every time an influencer works with a brand, we are able to pick the data. So for example, the engagements, the followings, the comments and everything, and we're able to combine this data and present it to the brands via dashboards and metrics which they're able to understand.
Yes.
And this goes in depth. For example, with our platform, we're able to distinguish an influencer's following, whether these are like authentic followers or they are bot influence followers or fake followers, and we're able to give this data to a brand. So when a brand is deciding to work with an influencer on our platform, we provide all of this data. So for example, for us, our pitch to the brands, we're giving them operational ROI.
Yes.
So you see, like for our platform, the amount of time that will take for a brand to work with an influencer, traditionally, we're able to reduce that time from 100 hours to even 25 minutes. So once a brand puts a pitch on our platform, they're able to start getting receiving content for influencers within a few minutes.
Pretty much. And when you look at the uptake so far that you've seen on Ninefluence, would you say that indeed this was the missing gap in digital marketing or digital influencing space?
Yeah, so you realize out here a lot of influencers are growing or are coming out. So with our platform, we're making it easier for these brands to actually reach out to these influencers. And our twist is we're actually making the influencers come to their brands with their content. So traditionally, a brand will approach influencer and they have some meetings back and forth, trying to to understand or explain to the influencer what they actually need. But on our platform, we actually give the influencers a brief and they pitch to their brands with their content. And if a brand is interested with the content that the influencer is bringing on board, they buy the content and license it to use however they want.
Yes.
But if they don't like the content, they don't buy it.
Yes.
So our twist is we're actually giving the brands a pool of influencers who actually consume their products.
Yes.
And they're getting authentic content of which is very beneficial to them.
Pretty much. Ms. Maria, I gotta put you in the same space as well on exactly what Ninefluence is doing in respect to this influencer marketing space. As a digital marketing strategist, you see, it's now getting to that point where it's not the companies that are looking for who to influence their products anymore. Because then if it's indeed clear that for you to be an influencer, let's start from that basic level that you spoke about this morning, a micro-influencer who has 3,000 plus followers who are communicating directly and love your content, then it means as an influencer, you do know exactly what you need to do. You are approaching companies and then telling them, I can actually help you sell your product because I feel I'm right within your space. Is it now turned the other way around where it's the influencers who are looking for these companies as opposed to the companies then looking for the influencers? Is that where we are right now with companies like Ninefluence now making that seamless for these companies?
Yes, as I said before, the internet has become very noisy, and for you to actually stand out, even as an influencer, as my colleague has said, you have that strategy of approaching brands, and they have they get to choose which content is relevant most to them. It works at some point, but it works when you are at a certain level, because as we've seen the different levels of influencing or influencers according to their numbers and their metrics, that is the analytics that they offer, it is very difficult when an influencer reaches a certain point for them to go out looking for work, because they are very marketable. That's why I said those kind of influencers are very expensive.
Yes.
But when you're in the nano and micro space, you can provide something that is distinct and something that will make the brand stand out. Then by all means, you approach the content. They call them pilots. You approach them with the content that you've created, and if they like it and they like your numbers, because that is the very important part of this whole ordeal, you have to present your numbers also. So your creative plus the numbers which communicate your level of influence, it helps a brand decide who to go with.
Pretty much.
To stand out from the noise. That is the basic thing. To stand out from the noise.
All right, Miss Moria, as we come close to the end of this conversation, briefly, if you can, in a minute also, someone who's listening you outside there and then trying to figure, how do I become an effective influencer, either on all those levels, the nano, the macro, the micro, and the mega? How do I become effective? Indeed, companies are looking at the different metrics that we're talking about here this morning, and especially on that particular one, the response and the engagement.
The most important thing that people should know is, one, give value. Give value to your to drive meaningful engagement, and two, be consistent with creating content.
Yes.
And if you want to be in a certain niche, because people are niching out and it's working, and you're able to be at a better negotiating position, please note, but always remember, provide value. Do not give fluff.
Yes.
Give value and be consistent. Your numbers will also.
Give value and be consistent, your numbers will always grow. That's according to Miss Wandia. Now, for you, it's the same question, Dave, but then I'm going to ask you on a different perspective. You have a very nice platform that is positions itself within this digital marketing and influencing space. And so somebody is wondering, how do I become the sort of person that my influence clients will look at it and say, well, let's work with this one? How do I become an effective digital influencer within Nifluence?
Yeah, so for our platform, we're coming at a time whereby we want to bring benefits to actually the people who want to become influencers.
Yes.
So on our platform, everybody is an influencer. Whether you have big following, you have small following, or you have no following, you are an influencer.
Yes.
Case in point, because for our platform, we actually ask the brands to put out a brief and tell anybody who is interested to participate in creating content for that brief to submit.
Yes.
You might be a photographer, you might be a videographer, you might be a designer, you might be a micro-influencer. Pitch to the brands with what you have. If the brands are going to like it, they're going to work with you. Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, Miss Modia, let's clear it like this then. Can you kindly give me an outlook of this digital marketing space? I mean, it's one of those spaces that keep on morphing from time to time. But could you, this morning, from where you sit, look at this space and sort of give us a 5-year outlook of where you expect it to be?
As of 2020, the influencer marketing market stood at $10 billion of the market share. So you can imagine, with the growth that you have, 5%.
Miss Wandia, let me start this connection again. But you sort of broke at that time when you're sort of giving us those figures that we may want to get to. Miss Wandia, can you confirm, please, if you can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. Please pick up from where you started.
Okay, I was saying, as of 2020, the influencer marketing market share stood at $10 billion. That is a mind-blowing. As we said last time, we are at 35% online purchase as of 2021, as of today. Five years down the line, any digital strategy that does not include influencer marketing strategy will not really be taking advantage of the marketing fluid, because it's becoming important and the market share is rising every day.
Pretty much. All right, Dave, your company is in this space. You're trying to create a niche for yourself. It's already working by the uptake that you're already seeing. Can you give me, and I would like you about I'll talk about the local outlook. Where do you see Nifluence in the next 5 years in this digital space that is actually moving day by day? What do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Definitely, just to add what my colleague has said, the market is big right now and it's growing at an exponential rate. In the future, for example, for us as Nifluence, based on our vision, we are capitalizing on getting a market share of the bigger market.
Yes.
And with this, there are certain trends we are starting to see, and especially on the technology side. You see, for example, for TikTok, which it is estimated on a daily basis to be hitting about 600 million users in a day.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure TikTok is on a verge of becoming a dominant in this space. And with this, we're going to see video becoming a greater source of content.
Yes.
We're going to see live streaming also growing. And one of the things, maybe what I'm going to say might hit a couple of people, celebrity marketing will decline and micro-influencers will grow.
That's a good thing for anybody who's listening and wondering, how do I become then a micro-influencer? You see what David is saying? Celebrity marketing will decline and micro-influencing is going to be the thing. You want to know how? You do know what to do. Get onto Ninefluence now. You can download an app, and also if you want to talk to Miss Wandia or any other person on exactly how you can be that micro-influencer, a specific one, then you do know what to do at Metropole TVKE across all your social media platforms. This morning, we were joined by David Olilo, CEO, Ninefluence. You got to look for that company and know what it is they're doing. You have to. All right. And also, Ms. Wandia, who's a digital marketing strategist as well. David, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Wandia, thank you very much. Fantastic. And that's exactly what we have for you this morning. But we take a short break. Once we come back, Safaricom, woof! They wiped off 54 billion in paper wealth yesterday. How? We'll be telling you how and why the strongest talks at the local booths are now correcting, specifically the likes of equities and KCBs. We'll be telling you how, and it exactly makes sense as to why, despite that drop in paper wealth, Safaricom traded 7 million shares yesterday. Actually, to be specific, 7.9. Once we get back.